All right, hello everybody. My name is Kate Epler. I work at San Francisco Public Library. Thank you so much for joining us today for our Lunch and Learn webinar about how to get help with your US citizenship application. I am very grateful to Anna Lagunas and Brett Snyder, who are going to be our presenters. Anna is from Mission Asset Fund, and she's going to tell you all about their wonderful program in a minute. And Brett is with Jewish Family and Children Services, and they have been working with us for a couple of years now to provide free help and consultation for people who are applying for US citizenship. And so I'm excited for them to tell you today about what's still available during our sort of quarantine shutdown and how you can make some forward progress with your application. And we also have Jorge, who I think is going to help out. Hi, Jorge.
Hello, everyone. Yep, I'll be on standby, but our stellar Ana Lagunas will be taking the lead.
Okay, very cool. So a little bit of housekeeping. There is a Q&A function on your webinar window. So please use that for your questions, and we will pull them out of there probably at the end. If there's anything pressing, feel free to drop it in. I'll be looking at it. You can also use the chat function. If you're calling in by phone, don't worry. We will also have a question section at the end where you can sort of chime in there. I think that's, oh, and we will post a recording of this on the library YouTube page, so you don't have to worry about taking too many notes. You'll be able to watch it again. And that address is in the chat section. It's youtube.com/user/San Francisco Library. So thanks again for joining, and thank you, Brett and Anna, for sharing what you're about to share. And I think that's all from me.
All right. Well, thank you, Kate, for that great introduction. I'm going to start today just by explaining about our San Francisco Pathways to Citizenship online portal and how those who are hoping to apply for citizenship can use it to help fill out their N400 form. So let me go ahead and bring up my presentation. Let's see. Okay. Oops. All right. So yeah, thank you again for having us. This is a presentation in conjunction with San Francisco Public Library, the San Francisco Pathways to Citizenship Initiative, and my organization, Jewish Family and Children Services. And I'm going to explain to you today in as good detail as I can how to use our online portal in order to apply for citizenship. So for starters, I just want to make a reminder that now, if there was ever a time, is the time to apply for citizenship if you're eligible. USCIS is still accepting N400 applications. So even though a lot of USCIS offices have been closed in the last 3 to 4 months, they are still accepting citizenship applications. So if there's a thought about, well, will my application be processed? It will. Additionally, there are still fee waivers available, including those for those who are receiving Medi-Cal, CalFresh, or any other sort of means-tested benefit. However, the rules concerning fee waivers are likely to change. There's a court litigation right now about federal regulations regarding fee waivers, and if things do change, it's possible that those who are eligible for fee waivers because they're receiving benefits may not be eligible for the fee waiver in the future. So if you're eligible now, it may be a good time to apply. Also, due to many of the changes because of COVID-19, there's been a lot of travel and immigration restrictions in the last few months. Unfortunately, these have decreased the options for travel and immigration for those who are non-citizens. And many of the exceptions to these new rules are only available to US citizens and their families. So pursuing citizenship is a great way to make sure that you have all of the benefits that are available to a US citizen, those for travel and those for immigration. And finally, by getting US citizenship, you're going to make sure that you have the most security that you can, even in uncertain times, and that you have all the benefits that are available to you and your family. So I don't think that it needs to be mentioned too much, but a global pandemic that we're in for the last 3 to 4 months has created some significant barriers. But specifically for those who are seeking to apply for citizenship, it's made it a little bit more difficult to seek assistance. A lot of offices, not only for USCIS, but also for legal service providers, have been closed. And it's more difficult for people to get out of their homes when they might have traditionally gone to something like a citizenship workshop. Fortunately, my organization, as well as the San Francisco Pathways to Citizenship Initiative, we're working on ways in order to make remote access, people who can get assistance from our organizations, but without having to leave their homes, we're working on making those options more available. And one of the options that is available right now is our San Francisco Pathways to Citizenship portal. So what is the portal? It's a free internet service for filling out the N400 form. And so the N400 form is the form that you'll need to file to apply for citizenship. It's powered by a software called Citizenship Works, which is a cloud-based software that's very similar to if you've ever used something like TurboTax. You create an account, log in, and then answer questions in order to fill out this N400 form. By logging in through this portal, you're automatically connected with the San Francisco Pathways to Citizenship Initiative and our partner organizations. In addition, you'll have the ability to have legal advocates easily review and make changes to your application. So once you've completed the application, an attorney or an accredited representative will be able to easily look up your application, review it, and also advise you about any potential legal issues you might have. So again, it's very easy to fill out the N400 form with the Citizenship Works software. In addition, by using our portal, you'll also get free help with the fee waiver. You'll get free application review by an attorney or an accredited representative. And if you're seeking attorney representation at your citizenship interview, you can attain that for free. You'll also be easily connected with our San Francisco Pathways to Citizenship partner organizations, which exist across the city and also can remotely provide free assistance in various languages for naturalization. So if you have any questions throughout the citizenship process, you'll be connected now with our organization and you'll be able to get help in the language that fits you best. So how do we start getting help through the San Francisco Pathways to Citizenship portal? Well, to start, you'll go to this website, www.citizenshipworks.org/portal/SFPCI. And I'll leave this here for those of you who are viewing. And as Kate mentioned, we'll have the video up on YouTube on the library's YouTube page. So if you need to find this URL, it'll be available here. So you'll go to this URL. It can also be found on our homepage, which is sfcitizenship.org. Once you go to that URL, you're going to find that there is a button that says Start Now. There'll be a banner that says Become a US Citizen, Free, Safe, and Simple. And you'll click this button that says Start Now to start creating an account for filing your N400 application. The next step is the pre-screening. The Citizenship Works software asks some basic questions to determine whether you are potentially eligible for citizenship. The questions include, do you have a green card? How long have you had a green card? Where are you living now? Have you lived in that residence for 3 months or longer? Are you married to a US citizen? And what is the category of your green card? You'll complete those questions, and then ultimately, the account will say whether you are eligible to apply for citizenship. So, assuming that you are eligible, you'll be able to move forward to create an account. Now, creating the account is free. It's very similar to creating any other account with an online cloud-based software that you might use. You're just going to enter in either a phone number. You'll either enter in a phone number or an email address in order to create your account. In order to verify that your account is yours, Citizenship Works will send you a verification code, either as a text to your phone number or as an email to your email address. Once you've confirmed, you'll be able to create a password, and you'll use your phone number and that password, or your email address and that password in order to log in. So the next step is going to be to log into your account. You're going to use that email address that you used to create your account, as well as the password that you used to create the account in order to log in. If you used a phone number to create the account, go ahead and use that phone number here instead of an email. If for whatever reason you forgot your password or your password simply isn't working, you can click the button that says, I forgot my password, to go through the process to reset and to get a new password for your account. Ultimately, you'll log in to your account. The first time that you log in, you'll see this pop-up window. It will say, confirm organization enrollment. What's happening here is the Citizenship Works software is confirming that you are connected with the San Francisco Pathways to Citizenship initiative. It's important at this point that you click join so that you'll be connected to our network and that our network of attorneys and accredited representatives can then contact you and see your application on our side. Once you click join, you'll be able to start filling out your application. You'll see a location that says start here, and they will start asking you very simple questions in order to fill out the N400 application. Again, if you've ever used a software like TurboTax, this is very similar to that. Sorry. Oops. To give you an idea of what that looks like, you'll see here a button that says start here, and you'll click next. They'll ask you questions about your eligibility, whether you registered for selective service, as well as any interactions you've ever had with law enforcement. You'll also include more information about yourself, your spouse, children, your parents, and any places that you've been living and working in the last 5 years, your trips outside of the United States, any organizations you've been a member of, any tickets or arrests that you've had, and then a number of other yes or no questions about eligibility. As you continue through the application, you'll notice this progress bar at the top. As you continue to fill the application, the progress bar will increase, and you'll see the number of incomplete questions decrease. At any point while you're filling out your application, if you need to step away and come back later, you can always log out and come back. Any information that you've entered in and saved will be saved online. There's no need to save anything to your computer or to print anything out. Your information will be saved in the cloud. Then when you come back, if you've skipped around or moved through sections and not completed everything, you can simply click on Incomplete Questions, and a list of incomplete questions will come up. There you can enter that information without having to go back through every single section. The goal here is to complete the entire application and make sure that you are 100% complete with 0 incomplete questions. Just a few tips about Citizenship Works. In general, we want you to use the most accurate information possible. But one of the most complicated or difficult things is to get dates for certain travel, for employment, or for residential addresses. If you cannot get the exact date of a residential address or a time of employment, use approximate dates. You will need to try to get at least the month and the year, but Citizenship Works will allow you to say that this is an approximate date. Again, try to be as accurate as possible, but don't let the fact that you do not have the exact date stop you from filling out the application. Make sure that you include all employers, schools, and residential addresses, even if they were only short term. So if you had employment, but it was only for a few weeks, make sure that you include that information. Make sure that you read all questions carefully and click the information button if you see it to get more information on that question. The information button is a green circle with a white eye inside of it. If you get stuck, try logging out and then logging back in. So if you're in a situation where you're entering your information and saving it, but for whatever reason, that information just isn't saving, or you're not allowed to move to the next section, try logging out and then logging back in. Okay. Once you've reached 100%, meaning you've completed all the questions and that you don't have any incomplete questions, you'll move on to review. Now, at the review stage, the software will prompt you to go through and make sure that you've completed any questions that you might not have completely answered, and it will alert you of any red flags that you may have. Now, what are red flags? The Citizenship Works software automatically recognizes that there are areas where if you have answered a certain way to a question, that you may need to consult with an immigration attorney or advocate before you move forward. For example, if you answered that you've ever had any contact with the police, it's probably best that you speak with an immigration advocate and determine whether it is appropriate that you move forward and file for citizenship. So these red flags will then show up in your application, and an immigration advocate, as a part of the San Francisco Pathways to Citizenship initiative, will be able to see in your application these red flags. When they get in contact with you, they will be able to speak with you about the question, ask you some more detailed questions about whatever the red flag legal issue is, and then determine whether the issue can be resolved. So, how do you contact San Francisco Pathways to Citizenship Initiative to make sure that you can get your application reviewed and that your red flags can be resolved? The easiest way is to contact us by phone. So I have on our screen, there's a number of numbers. Our main English number is 415-662-8901. For Spanish, 415-662-8902. Chinese, 415-295-5894. For Filipino, 415-692-6798. And for Russian speakers, 415-754-3818. By contacting this number, you will be put in contact with an attorney or an accredited representative who can review your application using Citizenship Works and, if necessary, help you to resolve any red flags that you may have. So, say that you contacted our organization, you had an attorney go through and review your application. Now what? Well, you'll want to print your application, and you'll do that by going to the bar on the left-hand side, finding the words that say print application, clicking it, and then clicking the button that says View N400 Form. Doing this will generate a PDF file which has your generated N400 application. Now, if you have not had your form reviewed by an attorney and you have red flags in your application, the application will generate with a watermark. I have an example of the watermark here in the presentation. It says, "This is a draft, do not file." So the reason why this exists is that we want to make sure that anyone who has a red flag in their application, otherwise a complicated or potentially complicated issue that an attorney needs to review, that they make sure to speak with someone, with an attorney or an accredited representative, before going ahead and filing their application. After the attorney reviews the application and helps to resolve any red flags, they will remove this watermark so that you can generate this PDF without having the watermark on it. So let's say you've printed your application and it has no watermark, you're ready to go. Before you file, you're going to make sure that your application is signed and dated, that you've included the filing fee of $725, and there's going to be a little bit more information after I finish speaking from Anna about how you can get that application fee. And if you're potentially eligible for a fee waiver, instead of the filing fee, you've included a signed form I-912 fee waiver with evidence that you are receiving a means-tested benefit or that you are low income. And again, you're going to work with an attorney from San Francisco Pathways to Citizenship to make sure that you can prepare that fee waiver application correctly. You've also included a copy of the front and back of your green card. And you've used only black ink on your application, and you didn't use any staples. Additionally, before you file, if you need any of the following, you need to contact one of our attorneys at San Francisco Pathways to Citizenship before you file. So for example, if you are living with a disability that makes it difficult for you to learn English language or US history and civics, you might need a medical waiver. Or if you need help with a full or partial fee waiver, or say you need advice on a complex issue, your criminal history, your extended travel, or your complicated immigration history, or you simply need to request court or tax documents, or need an attorney to represent you at your N400 interview. Before you file, you want to make sure to be in contact with a San Francisco Pathways to Citizenship attorney so that they can advise you, help you prepare these documents, and potentially make sure that they will appear with you at your N400 interview. Okay. So again, here's the contact information for San Francisco Pathways to Citizenship. The other way to contact our partner organizations directly is to go to sfcitizenship.org/resources/our-immigration-providers. That number again to contact San Francisco Pathways to Citizenship is 415-662-8901. And the other numbers are listed here for those who prefer Spanish, Chinese, Filipino, or Russian language. So those are the basics of how you would start your application using the San Francisco Pathways to Citizenship portal. I'm going to now turn it over to Anna, who will give you more information about how Mission Asset Fund can help with the N400 fee.
Great, Brett. Thank you for sharing all of that information. I'm going to go ahead and share my presentation. Give me one quick second. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for having me. My name is Ana Lagunas, and I come from Mission Asset Fund. I am a client success manager there. And so that means I basically work with clients to help them through our application process, through our various programs that we have. To begin, I want to share a little bit about Mission Asset Fund. We are a nonprofit that was created with a $1 million grant from the Levi Strauss Foundation, who wanted to give back a little bit to the community that had employed their jean factory in the Mission District. We are a nonprofit with a mission to create a fair financial marketplace for hardworking families, which includes a variety of things. When we realized that immigration relief had a barrier of financial means, we decided to look at our values and really be there for our community. We like to share a little bit about what our values are whenever we give any presentation. We like to meet people where they're at, not necessarily where we think that they should be. We like to build on their successes. We know that everybody's incredibly resilient, and they have come up with solutions that we want to elevate. And we want to respect their journeys and their life experiences, because again, they are incredibly resilient, and we like to really uplift their work. Like I mentioned, we realize that immigration relief can be very expensive, and that barrier is something that Mission Asset Fund wanted to help community members surpass. So we created our immigration loan program in order to help clients fill out different USCIS application fees. So the way it works is we are not a legal service provider. So you do have to fill out your paperwork via a different avenue. But once you do have your paperwork filled out and you are just in need of financial assistance, you can check out our immigration loan program. You apply to MAF's loan. You complete a financial education course, which is 5 short financial education videos. I know a financial course sometimes sounds a little daunting, but they're fairly short. They're 5 to 7 minutes each. Once that's completed and your application is approved, you receive a check made out to the Department of Homeland Security for the application fee. Once you have the check, you mail out both the check and your completed application, and hopefully be on your way to some immigration relief. So a couple of benefits to you. Given that this is a zero interest loan, that means Mission Asset Fund does not charge you any fees or any interest to borrow this money. You get to cover your USCIS filing fee with, again, zero interest. So that's a great benefit, given that a lot of loans come with staggering costs. Because we report all payments to the 3 major credit reporting bureaus, it gives you an opportunity to establish and build up your credit history, which we know is a key to other financial products in the future. You do have access to different financial education modules that you are, of course, always welcome to take advantage of us. So you get to increase your financial knowledge. And like I mentioned, you do receive a check made out to the US Department of Homeland Security for the application fee that you are requiring. We do support a number of USCIS applications, not limited to citizenship. We have a citizenship loan, a DACA renewal loan, a temporary protected status loan, a green card loan, and a petition for immigrant relatives. All of our immigration loan products are broken up into 10 monthly payments. So if you have a citizenship fee of $725, you divide that by 10 and you make 10 monthly payments of $72.50. However, and this is something that I'm really excited about, if you have a significant connection to the city and county of San Francisco, you are automatically eligible to receive a 50% match grant. Beginning in July 2018, Mission Asset Fund, in partnership with the Department of the Office of Civic Engagement and Immigrant Affairs of San Francisco, offered up this option where if you have a significant connection to San Francisco, that is, you work in San Francisco, live in San Francisco, go to school here, receive any type of services, including legal services, you automatically are approved for a 50% match grant, which means they pay for 50% of your loan, so you only have to pay half of it. Given that if you are using this pathways for citizenship to apply for your citizenship, you are automatically eligible for this grant, which means instead of paying $725 for your USCIS application fee, you'll end up paying only $362.50, which is of course paid over the course of 10 months, making your payments $36.25, which is an awesome opportunity. So in terms of applying, you can visit our website at bit.ly/math here to stay to have access to create an account, then fill out your application. Once your application is submitted, a representative of ours, either my colleague Doris or myself, review your application. If for whatever reason you missed a document or there was an error in any of the documents that we provided, we go ahead and contact you and work with you to make sure to get that application to where it needs to be so that we can offer you this opportunity. So a little bit about the eligibility. Given that this is a loan product, you do have to be 18 years of age or older. For anybody who needs to file for their child or anything like that, parents can apply for them. You just have to give us a call so that we can go ahead and make a note of that and work with you to get all the applications through. You do need a personal email address. That is the primary form of communication that we use with our clients, unless they notify us that they would rather have a phone-to-phone relationship with us. Again, because this is like a loan, you do need to provide a valid photo ID. For most of our loan products, any valid photo ID suffices. That be a foreign passport, a matricula consular, a driver's license. But we do have a special requirement for citizenship applications, that being that you do need to provide a picture of an unexpired green card, just so that we can verify that you are eligible to apply for citizenship. In order to verify your checking account, we do need you to provide a voided check, bank statement, or bank letter that shows your name, account number, and routing number. This information will be used to set up a monthly payment process so that you don't have to worry about scheduling your payment month to month. It's just automatically debited from the account that you provide. You are also required to we're also required to verify your income. We do verify income using a variety of ways. If you can provide 2 months of pay stubs, a financial aid letter, public benefits letter, we're able to do that, as well as 3 months of bank statements. I know I gave a lot of information, so if there are any questions, feel free to share so that I can answer them.
Anna, there actually is one in the chat, excuse me. So we only apply for the loan after we have the citizenship application completed. At what point in the process should people apply for this loan?
That's a wonderful question. So we usually recommend that you apply to the loan once the application is completed, just so that we know that you are ready to apply, right? We don't want you to have to apply to this loan and then something come up with your application where you need to wait a couple more months or anything like that. So I think for specific situations, you're of course always welcome to call us, but we would suggest speaking with your legal service provider so that you have an estimate regarding when you will likely be submitting that application.
Thank you. And so we have experts in the house. Now is a wonderful time to ask your questions about the information that was shared today or questions about the process in general. You can use the chat function to ask your question. There is also a Q&A option from the webinar window.
So I actually have a question for Anna. Anna, you mentioned that in order to get the 50% grant, you need to have a significant connection to San Francisco. Can you give me some examples of how you might show that?
Definitely. So let's say you work at a restaurant in San Francisco. That's a significant connection. Let's say you practice your religion in San Francisco. Do you go to church in San Francisco? That's a significant connection. If you have a doctor in San Francisco, that's a significant connection. If your kids receive services like they have a doctor or they go to school in San Francisco, that is a significant connection. And like I mentioned, if you apply to this particular program, Pathways to Citizenship, you automatically qualify for the 50% match grant.
Great, thanks.
That's wonderful. What other questions? All right, going once. Going twice. Sold. Brett, Anna, and Jorge, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing out about all this. I'm excited for people to use the tools and use the resources and get going.
Yeah, thank you for having us. And my phone number, if anyone needs to contact me for questions, is 415-449-2917. And the information should be posted on YouTube. So if you have any questions about any of the information we've offered today, please use that information to contact us, okay?
Definitely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
for
you,
having
everybody.
us.
Thank you for joining us.
Well, thanks for having us.
No, no more questions.
Okay. Bye.
Bye, you guys. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.